thought Justin Fields had a chance, but every time I watched them, it diminished. There were rumors last week that he may be used as a kick returner. They have been squashed, but the fact that they became rumors tells you all you need to know. Listen, if you're honest about it, you look for data points. Fourth quarter passer rating, completion percentage, playing from behind. There's no data point that leads you to believe you could build your franchise around it. Now, he's talented. I think somebody else will give him another shot to be the guy. Probably a 2-year deal, not a 5-year deal for huge money. But the fact that that was a rumor tells you, and that he went for a 6th-round pick tells you, people looked at the data and don't see him as a franchise guy. Where Colin was right, where Colin was wrong in a month.
Okay. That's a little absurd because they also wanted to turn Lamar Jackson into what, like a wide receiver potentially, which I defended that, a lot of people took issue with that back then, which I defend that, the scout or whoever it was, I forget, didn't think he was going to be a good quarterback. He was obviously wrong, and yet he still saw some great athletic talent, and, and there you go. But this idea that Colin's saying, well, look, because this was a rumor, that means it just is kind of proof that he's really not that good. And well, was it proof that a respected scout thought that Lamar Jackson shouldn't be a quarterback, and now he's a 2-time MVP, quarterback? So I don't really get that logic, quite honestly. Listen, do I think Justin Fields is this amazing quarterback? No, at least not right now. Do I think he has got the potential to ever be a top 5 quarterback? No. But do I think that he could be a quarterback that is a legitimate quarterback in the NFL? Be in the realm of a Dak Prescott, Baker Mayfield, probably maybe a little bit below them, but maybe a little bit higher because he has his legs, right? Like, we always use this expression way too much, but like a poor man's version of blank, right? Like a poor man's version of Lamar or a poor man's version of Mahomes. But, I could see that. I could see him being like a Baker Mayfield, but someone who can actually rip off for like a 40-yard run. So I just don't know if you have to completely throw Justin Fields out into the trash. I just think it's too strong to do, quite honestly. Listen, clearly there was issues in Chicago, okay? 1, they have a defensive head coach, and 2, they got a new OC, okay? If the OC wasn't a problem, and if the offense wasn't a problem, and it was just Justin Fields, they just had to get him out, then why did they make some of those changes that they did? So that's where I kind of stand with it, where I would really love to see Justin Fields get a better opportunity, because I don't even know if it's really going to be in Pittsburgh necessarily, where he could actually be given, a spot where he's actually supported. Not unlike where we're going to see Bo Nix with Sean Payton. And again, it's not to say that now automatically changes everything, and now Justin Fields is just a top quarterback and is just going to ball out and win MVPs and Super Bowls. That's not what I'm saying either. But I think there is a lot of raw talent with Justin Fields. But he needs, in order for him to be successful, you can't just give him the keys to the monster truck and say, all right, best of luck. Because he is going to smash houses and other cars and just be reckless. That's what happens when you are so athletic, so quick, and not just pure talent, is that more things can go wrong. And this is what I said about Caleb Williams, is that Caleb Williams also needs to have great coaching and great, people around him, because his skill set is so high and so through the roof, and that he can do so many different things, that because of that, so many things can go wrong. We see this all the time. This is a great example that I just thought of. I don't mean to, toot my own horn. But so it's in basketball. The guys that have the craziest handles also turn the ball over a lot. And they turn the ball over in a way that looks absurd and silly and dumb, because they can do so much that they're dribbling between the legs, behind the back, doing all this crazy stuff. They try to go so fast, and then they drill the ball off their leg. And it's just like, oh my God, what are you doing? And when you see the other slower, guy who doesn't have those handles, he like never dribbles the ball off of his leg, because he's never ever really dribbling in that fashion. So more things can theoretically go wrong for those players who can do a lot. Steph Curry will miss a lot of threes because he can make so many threes. Steph Curry takes these half-court shots because he can actually make them, but now he also misses plenty of those shots. So that's what happens with someone who's really, really athletic. There's no denying that Justin Fields is, an athletic, freak, because he is. He's so fast, he's so quick, but it's the other aspects of his game that lacks. And that is why I really think that he would be able to, relatively speaking, thrive when he actually has a coach. We saw this with Baker Mayfield too. Baker Mayfield failing. Then Sean McVay got him and was like, hey, look, I can make this work. Again, Brock Purdy is not going to the Super Bowl with the Carolina Panthers, with the Cleveland Browns. Just not happening. With the Buffalo Bills. It's not happening. So I just think that Justin Fields needs to be rebuilt a little bit. I know people are quick to bury him, and it's understandable. But when we think about some of these other quarterbacks that got a lot of extra chances, whether it be Sam Darnold, Zach Wilson, Baker Mayfield, I just think to myself, well, Justin Fields has shown us some great things that it just seems like if you maybe build the right team around him, get him the right weapons, get him the right coach, it seems like Justin Fields actually at this point in his career would be humble enough to be able to take that in, to be able to be like, all right, I've been punched in the face now, big time. And if this whole rumor is true about, being a kick return option, I really got punched in the face now. But again, I find that hard to believe because you're going to tell me that Justin Fields isn't good enough to be at least a second string quarterback or a third string quarterback. I don't see that. I find that really, really hard to believe that unless his athleticism really is just so unbelievably amazing, and they are dude, you are going to succeed if we can just get the ball in your hands in the open field because you are unbelievable. Yes, we're sorry you were going to be a quarterback, but you're not. That is theoretically a possibility when you really are just that athletically gifted, which Justin Fields is. And as you get so obsessed with the idea of oh my God, well, a quarterback touches the ball every single play, and if we get a quarterback who is an athletic freak, the sky's the limit, right? That Patrick Mahomes, the sky's the limit. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, the sky is the limit. And so that's what people see in Justin Fields of if we can just make this guy a better thrower, more accurate, make better reads pre-snap, this guy will be unbelievable. He can do anything. The sky is the limit. But it's just always not that easy. You can't just those things are not always teachable skills, So I get the argument that Justin Fields is just not a quarterback in the NFL. He's not going to be a starter. He hasn't shown enough, and that he is really athletically gifted. So let's see what else you can do with him. But then I also see the argument of all right, well, you know what? He got drafted to Chicago. Chicago has been a mess forever. Let's give this guy another try with an actual legitimate offensive mind and see what he can do. See what, can he be successful in any type of measurable way? And, I think that's it's okay to continue to kick those tires around. And it's okay to ask those questions. We were so obsessed with wanting to be able to be first, to be able to I told you Justin Fields wasn't good, and I said that 2 years ago. And it's you get extra credit for saying it 2 years ago. And I get it. I'll make statements like that sometimes. If a series wins or whatever it is, and I'm I told you, I said that this team wasn't that good. And so I get it, right? It's just human behavior. But for me, I'd rather be accurate than be the first. In fact, I really actually don't care about being the first. That's why I always say on this channel, I don't want to really build a channel or an audience or whatever it is, from the perspective of I'm able to predict things. I'm the predictor. If come to this channel and watch me, and I'm going to tell you what the future is. Because I don't believe anyone can tell the future, quite honestly. Did anyone think that Justin Fields was going to be playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers? I don't think anyone guessed that, quite honestly. And Russell Wilson is there too. There's no way anyone guessed that was going to be a thing. So I just, I rather try to evaluate things moment to moment. What am I seeing right now? What did I see yesterday? And what do I think will happen tomorrow? So that's where I am with Justin Fields. Again, do I predict that he's going to ball out and end up being a great quarterback and everyone's going to be oh my God, were we wrong about Justin Fields? I do not think that. But do I think he could technically be a starter in the NFL and be one of the 32 quarterbacks? I do. I really do. Because he has shown that, again, if you have the right environment around him, he can be successful to a degree. So that's kind of just where I land on this. And yeah, I don't know why Colin is kind of doing a victory lap with this thing that he says about the kick return, but then he admits that it was just a rumor that was then shot down. But the fact that it was a rumor means that there's some validity to it. And it's just like, I don't understand. That makes me dizzy. That means if Lamar Jackson has not a great rookie year, it's like, well, see, he should have been a wide receiver. And we know that to not be true, right? We know that to be false. So yeah, I'm not getting the logic, quite honestly. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you think about Justin Fields potentially being a kick return option? Do you think that's like a real report and not just a rumor? And do you think it should be explored? Or do you think that Justin Fields is a legitimate quarterback and needs to be given a better opportunity? Let me know in the comments below whether you agree with me or disagree with me. I read every single comment. So let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. And I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.